Hey folks, Rob Avis here. I'm here with Avery Ellis, and we're going to take a tour of his property, and he's going to talk a little bit about what got him into permaculture and how he has turned this half-acre property into this regenerative living oasis. So stay tuned to the episode, and hope you really enjoy this. And if you want to find out more about Avery, stay till the end, and we'll give you links to his website.
Hey, here we are at Hillcrest Homestead. This is my home. My name's Avery. I'm the director of Boulder Permaculture. I also own United Ecology. All right, this is my food forest. Let's go check it out. So here we are in the first rain garden on my property here. This takes the roof rainwater and pipes it underground and into this basin. We took the roof behind us and calculated that in 1 inch of rain, 550 gallons of water would be coming off of that roof. That comes into here. This basin is about the size for 200 gallons of water. So it fills and overflows and spills off into this dry creek bed. And that's a nice aesthetic that ties us to the sense of place of the mountains and the creeks and the flows of water. And the water flows through, and its next point of deposit is into this swale. Now this swale has about the capacity for about 1,000 gallons of water. And it's planted with sea buckthorn and apples and other medicinals. When that one fills, it spills off the same way and into the creek again, where it flows all the way down to the mailbox at the bottom. And all the while, it's watering these plum trees and the apricots and the cherries. We capture every single drop of water here on site. So as a permaculturist, I love to use local and natural materials. And just about 10 miles from here, they're harvesting this natural red flagstone out of the mountains. And it's a beautiful building material. By using it as a dry stack retaining wall, we're able to keep our rain gardens retained with an aesthetic that really ties us to the sense of place of Boulder and the mountains and the materials that are around us. Come on into the backyard. Now this was the last downspout that we harvested, and this water flows under this lovely bridge and all the way through this creek bed and into our raspberry patch where my dog likes to hang out. I grew up in New Jersey, the Garden State. I had this opportunity to go to Oroville, India. And while I was there, my whole life shifted. I really saw that the world needed more, ecological solutions. That really catapulted me into the whole systems thinking. Our culture doesn't seem to understand whole systems. We understand one piece. Oh, you're a plumber. I get that. You do this, you're an electrician. You can install solar, right? What I found was, once a client brought you in to build a garden and they shared their why, they really had this desire to have solar and chicken coop and compost bin and food forest and, community. From there, my ecological design company was born with this idea that, hey, I'll get in the door with gray water or greenhouses or gardening. And once I'm there and talking with the client, usually the whole picture unfolds that they want all of the things that permaculture can offer. And that was really inspiring for me to catapult to this higher level of offering whole systems. And so I've been practicing now for, 15 years in permaculture. And at this point, I'm really looking to grow again into development scale projects and commercial and institutional projects. So again, our patio is built out of local red flagstone. And when we built the patio, this downspout got trapped and we needed to get this water out to our garden. So we took this rain chain, which enters into a box underground and goes under the patio into a French drain. This is for permaculturists who have flat properties or negative slope. You can get water away underground. And now it's watering this whole section with lovely tart cherries, all these grapes. The grapes are growing up on my pergola and shading so that we can hang out in the summertime. And this whole section gets watered by this rain chain. We had this 50-year-old cottonwood tree that we had to cut down when we moved in because its roots were in our sewer system. But luckily we were able to use the tree for 4 different uses. We got a big pile of firewood. We got a big pile of wood chips to start our food forest. We got a dozen mushroom logs and my buddy's chainsaw mill. We milled out this lumber and we made all these beautiful pieces of furniture that we use on site as well. So here we are, we're doing a patch up here on this natural plaster earth wall. We packed straw, slip straw into these walls as insulation. And now we're just using a natural plaster mix, which includes lime, clay, sand, and cow manure to mortar the stones in place and fix up the wall. Come, I think I found a good one. Oh, there it is. Yeah, you guys can share it. Here, let's do this for the camera. Yum. Here's half for you and half for you. Now we've got this geodesic dome. We use it to grow perennials, but we also use it as a seed start nursery in the springtime. And in years past, we've had hydroponic and aquaponic production of strawberries hanging on these tubes so that the strawberries are actually easy to harvest and the rabbits don't get them all. Now we use these for medicine here on site. These are a special medicinal variety of passion flower for making tinctures and teas. And of course we have our strawberry bed here with an ebb and flow hydroponic system. We've got our 700-gallon pond. You found a better fig? Oh, you should smell this. It smells way better than plaster. Hey, look this. I found a way better fig. Yeah, with your thumbs. Yum, look at that. Oh, that looks tasty. Greenhouse grown figs. I want some, yum. That one's a little underripe. This one's the perfect amount of ripe, maybe a little too ripe. Really tasty. Welcome to the veggie garden here. So we've got about 2,000 square feet of veggie production. Right now it's almost July 1st. So we currently have our garlic interplanted with our tomatoes. We're getting ready to harvest that garlic in the next week or two. So from a permaculture perspective, we planted this hedgerow along our garden right up to our neighbor. And that's because the view sector from our backyard, when we moved in, was right into our neighbor's house. So we planted this whole edge with Nanking cherries, Manchurian apricots, Siberian pea shrubs, and at this point it's a 15-foot tall hedge of privacy that gives abundance of fruit every year. Yeah, to both sides. They're loving all the fruit that we're giving them. Got some apricots on this apricot tree, and of course there is just abundance of cherries. If I look at this Nanking cherry bush, it's just abundant and they're delicious. My kids can't get enough. We've got our hoops over top. This is for hail protection if we need it in midsummer. Also, we can extend our season into October or November if we put a little shade tarp and cloth over top when it frosts. But I really want to show you this purple spinach that I've been cultivating for the last few years. It's a oryx spinach, a lamb's quarter variety. I've been selecting the purplest variety every year, saving the seed, sharing it with my students and my community. And I think at this point, we've taken over the community with purple spinach. We've got the Egyptian walking onions and cucumbers. We've got our tomatoes and basil and peppers. Our dill is all going to seed and flower. Here's that purple oryx spinach that I've been cultivating for all these years. Back in this zone, we've got our corn bean squash. We even have trees that are just volunteering themselves everywhere in our garden. So what do you know? As the property transforms, we just get more and more trees popping up. Now I only have one rain barrel on my whole property, and that's because I consider the earth to be the largest and freest rain barrel that I have. And so this one is just a point at which the water gets trapped on the property. So harvesting it in a rain barrel and using it in my nursery over here is a really good use of the rainwater from this downspout. But when I did the math, it was some 600, 700 gallons of water coming off of this one downspout. At the top, we have a first flush diverter with a rain head screen. That first flush of water comes down and the bird poop and dirty water spills off into these lovely white and black currants and grapevines, which are shading the rain barrels. Now when the barrels fill, the top one fills first, which gives us a little bit of extra pressure, about 3 to 5 PSI, depending on how full it is. And when that one fills, it spills off and into the lower barrel. And the spill off also serves as an overflow into this drainage swale, which goes off into our mushroom zone. I'm recently experimenting with this new style where we're just sandwiching the oyster spawn between layers of log and then waxing over it. This is a new experiment, but otherwise all of these cottonwood logs came from our property and they're inoculated with oyster mushrooms, and when the temperature is just right and the humidity is right, we get oyster mushrooms in spring and fall. Yeah, regenerative living really is a potent phrase, right? It's not just, you know, any old words that you might use. Regenerative really means not just sustainable, but we're getting to the other end from degenerative to regenerative and restoring the land. So here we are in my food forest in my front yard. This was bluegrass lawn when I moved in 9 years ago, right? And that's a degenerative process of watering and fertilizing and aerating and treating your lawn with chemicals. Year after year of sheet mulching, lasagna gardening, planting perennials, you know, 9 years in now, the regenerative practice has turned to the next page where the perennial trees have turned the soil fungal. And when I look around at the weeds, they're trees that the birds have planted. So this is an abundant cherry year. By next year, I guarantee there's gonna be cherry trees and bushes all across the property as little sprouts from the birds that have come in and the soil transition from this, you know, bacterial dominant, chemical dominant lawn to a more fungal dominant, you know, forest ecosystem. And that feels very regenerative to me. I'll say living in suburbia here, it's pretty isolating a lot of times. We pull into our garage, we shut the door, we don't see our neighbors. But what I've been able to do in this neighborhood is actually reach out to the neighbors, find the carpenters, find the realtors, find the, you know, people with different skills in the neighborhood and bring them in, show them some inspiration and find this collaborative network in our neighborhood. At the same time, we've taken our shed in our backyard and we've turned that into a tiny house. And so I've got a small family with some young children and it's a lot of work to keep up with a house and young children and a business. And so by transforming our shed into a tiny house, we were able to invite some friendly folks to live in our property who don't pay us rent, they trade childcare for rent, right? And they trade garden maintenance and harvesting support for their rent. So there's no money exchanged in this relationship, but we're both receiving what our needs are. Right? Our needs are met by their yields. And so it's a real nice niche analysis of community to bring a small tiny house into your backyard and invite someone to share in the creative and collaborative effort of making this space abundant. You guys can find me on the internet. I run the Boulder Permaculture Design course. It's boulderpdc.com. I also own United Ecology. We do design, we do installation of landscapes, agriculture, and green infrastructure projects, and we're growing. So we're really looking to have a bigger impact in the world here that shifts from, you know, leaving footprints that are degenerative to leaving handprints that are regenerative.
Thanks so much, Avery, for taking me around. It's been so inspiring to see what you're doing here, the change that you're creating in this neighborhood and all right across the bioregion of Colorado. I'm definitely gonna have to come back and check out some more of these projects that you've talked about and keep up the great work.
Thanks, I'll be happy to take you on a tour next time you visit.
Okay, thanks so much, man.
Appreciate you.